Today in Luther's Kitchen, we're making sweet empanadas. Empanadas are like a very portable and convenient hand pie, but we're making little mini ones. So we're starting with flour, and to that we're adding some sugar and a little bit of salt. And you just want to whisk all your dry ingredients around. In a separate bowl, we are combining 1 egg and some sour cream. And we just want to get that thoroughly whisked together so that it is one liquid ingredient. Now we're adding some super cold diced unsalted butter, and we're going to run that through the flour mixture to make it very crumbly. We want all of the flour to be coated with butter. And now we're going to pour in the egg and sour cream mixture, and then we're going to stir all this together to form a dough. Once the mixture is pulled away from the bowl like this, you want to get it into the refrigerator. So you need to wrap it well in plastic wrap, and you want to flatten it out into a flat, thick frisbee, and then make sure you wrap it really well, and it should chill for at least 2 hours before you roll it out. Now that our dough is chilled, we want to make sure that the dough doesn't stick to the board, because this is still a fairly, I don't want to say sticky dough, but it is going to stick to your counter surface unless you flour it generously. And we also want to continually move the dough around using a bench scraper just to ensure that the dough is not going to stick. It's also a good idea to generously flour your rolling pin as well. So we want to roll this out to a thickness of about 1/4 of an inch. And again, it's really important that you continually check to make sure that your dough is not sticking to the bottom or to the rolling pin by using a bench scraper and by applying flour as needed to the rolling pin and to your surface that you're rolling it on. Now we're going to start cutting circles, and I'm using just a round cutter, and we are going to try to eliminate having to re-roll this dough multiple times, but in reality we actually had to re-roll the dough twice. So you want to try to squeeze in all of your circles, and then I have a couple sheet pans ready with parchment paper that I'm just going to put the circles on so that I could put the stuffing on while the circle of dough is on the sheet pan. So I'm putting 12 on a sheet pan, and I'm using just like 3 ingredients that I already had. So I've got some whipped cream cheese, and I'm just gonna put a little bit because these are small circles, so I need to be very careful not to overstuff the filling because I don't want it to ooze out in the oven. And then I had some raspberry preserves, so I'm just gonna put a little dollop of raspberry preserves. And then I had some chopped almonds. So you could use any kind of chopped nut, you could use a candied nut that's been chopped, and then I'm just going to put an egg wash around 1/2 of the circle, and then I'm going to bring the other half over to secure it. The egg wash is like glue, and I want to be sure that I'm just kind of pushing in that filling away from the edge so it doesn't ooze out in the oven. I'm securing it with my fingers before using a fork, the tines of a fork, to kind of get that characteristic empanada edge. Now I'm going to place these in the freezer so that they can chill before putting them in a hot oven. So you need to preheat your oven to 350. Once you're ready to bake, apply an egg wash to the top of all your empanadas and sprinkle with sugar. These need to bake for about 20 minutes or until they're golden brown. And they really are, once you get the dough right, these really are quite easy to make. You can freeze them before you bake them. So after you've sprinkled them with sugar, you could freeze them on a sheet pan, pop them off and put them in a bag, and then when you want fresh empanadas, bake them. For this recipe and more, visit myclasscancook.com.